The meeting will come to order. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the press, Down Beach Current, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the municipal website, filed in the office of the municipal clerk. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Here.
We have before us the minutes of our last meetings. Are there any additions or corrections?
I'll make a motion we accept those minutes.
I second that.
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
Is there any public comment?
Stephen Hoffman, 9003 Amherst Avenue, Margate. First, let me congratulate you all on your election. I want to point out that I would have been with my mother in wheelchair at your swearing in, except for the fact that that terrible calendar that we have to suffer with for a whole year is impossible. And I suggest that we take and put a calendar like the one we had in previous years on the website. The sooner the better, so that we can ignore that terrible printed calendar and go to the website and see when you're going to be sworn in. Mother really was disappointed. By the way, she's going to be 96 this week, and she was really anxious to be here because she was looking forward to someday seeing beach block parking change.
She looks like a tropist.
Anyway, I really urge that we try to get the calendar on the website, because the existing calendar that we have for this year is horrific, as we all know. And as the mayor pointed out, he agreed with me. Now, the acoustics in this room, as we all know, are terrible. And I would urge again, and I gave the mayor notes on this, that for about $3,000 we could hang bunting and improve the sound here. Now, I know that this sound system is going to travel back to City Hall this coming December. So I ask you to consider, when this is used as an emergency shelter, what kind of a sound system are you going to have in this room in the event that we do have another emergency like Storm Sandy? If the sound system is over in City Hall, what will we have here? And I really believe that we can improve the sound in this room, and I really believe, and for not much money, we should do that, because this room has clearly proven its value to the city. And it ought to be considered with a little better sound system than this terrible thing we have. Along those same lines, I'm going to just say this for Mr. Amadeo's benefit. Having some experience with audio visuals.
15 seconds, Steve.
Thank you, sir. If you're about 6 inches from the mic, it improves the sound in this room enormously. But I don't say that for your benefit. I say that for a lot of people who were in the last meeting. You did a pretty good job, sir. And I thank you, and I look forward to the next 4 years with you, gentlemen. Best of good luck.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. I gave a handout earlier this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Yes, you did.
In a most brutal pit bull attack. And I once again remind this commission that a simple $5 cloth jaw strap prevents all this mayhem. And you might say, why be concerned about some demented couple keeping a pit bull with a young child? But you know, when you medevac somebody with a chopper, it means in many cases there's not a chopper if someone's dear old dad, spouse, children, or grandchildren would be in a serious automobile accident and also require a chopper. So I would strongly ask you to revisit this. And because a former mayor had their own son mauled by a dog, Mayor Reel, for example. And I asked this commission, since they all swore that solemn oath on Tuesday, to uphold the New Jersey Constitution and its statutes. And one of those statutes happens to be the canine census. And the chief called Richard Deeney's bluff insofar as being willing to participate and to execute that, provided the money go to the police department, which I think is a great idea because we're not getting it anyway. So I ask that we get this canine census rolling. And last but not least, since the mayor has misused and abused his appointment power to the school board, I once again ask that the system be changed whereby the mayor puts up 5 of his own candidates for the school board. And then the 2 commissioners see if they can get 2 yeses out of those 5, because we need a change. I provided the new commissioner with J.D. Sless's email of May 1st, 2011, as well as that notorious June 8th, 2011, where the mayor and company and J.B. were willing to put the screws to a pregnant widow. Unconscionable, unconscionable. Read those minutes. And if you like, I'll give you the actual link to the audio, because this system must change. We can't have people there who are acting as political operatives.
15 seconds, John.
And I would particularly ask the new commissioner to look at the statement made by attorney Arthur Schenker back in June 8th of 2011. This is not a political ball to be played with at taxpayer expense. We're blowing $13 million a year and over $28,000 per pupil per year, twice what it costs in Ocean City. There's no explanation that's rational enough to accept the continuation of that particular system. Thank you very much.
Karen Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue. In spite of the horrific calendar on our website, and he's not even listening to me, and our horrible sound system, I want to say that I think Fred Verna does an excellent job for the city of Margate. Thank you. As far as Mr. Sewell's comments about school board appointments, now we have, because we are a small community, we have 2 officials who have a family member who is in the school. So I think that, and we can't avoid that in our community because it's so small. But I think if we went back to maybe where it was a true consensus, there were more people encouraged to be interviewed, and then it was a joint decision, all 3, because if we go with that the mayor can't, vote because he has a conflict, we have the same problem with Commissioner Amadeo. So I think we just need to, look at it and try to make it so that there's least amount of conflict as possible. Also, I wanted to ask 2 questions and then have you answer them as best as you can. If you could explain to us who's head of which departments and who are the employees that work under that department so that we know as a community, what we're looking for in terms of leadership. And also, we haven't heard anything about the dunes lately, and just wondering when we might have another report and where that is. So answer in the order in which you feel that you'd like to answer, if you'd like to answer.
I'll answer the last question. That's the easiest. We will be having a special meeting next week. It'll be essentially a closed meeting. I mean, it's advertised, but it will be in closed session because of the litigation on the dunes. And we're getting an update from our attorney. Because we have a new commissioner, we're all going to get back on the same page again. So following that meeting on June 4th, I'll do what I have been doing for the last 6 or 8 months and give everybody an update. There may or may not be a lot of new information, but whatever it is, there'll be an update on June 4th.
Thank you.
With respect to department heads, I think that's a question that nothing's changed. So the people you see around this table are the department heads. Now, the tax collector was mentioned today. She's not a department head per se, but if that's what you're referring to, is Linda Morgan's the tax collector. But the people that sit around this table are essentially the department heads.
No, I meant like the commissioner who's in charge of like what's public works, what's public safety generally, and what's revenue and finance.
Well, Public Works is Frank, and then Recreation comes under that, so Andrew Miles is under that too. And Public Safety is Fire Chief, Police Chief. They're the two main department heads in Public Safety. And
Building
lifeguards come under the Fire Department, which is also under Commissioner Amadeo, but in terms of department head, it comes under. Oh, Fred wants to be recognized again, so, and I haven't got there yet, Fred.
Wait, where's the building department?
That's public safety.
It's
Public safety.
Public safety.
I can read off the resolution that was passed that Commissioner Blumberg and Mayor Becker allowed me to pick my committee and allowed me to pick what committee I wanted, which I want to thank them publicly for. Under Public Safety, aid to hospitals, beach inspectors, Board of Health, electrical inspector, emergency management, code officials, animal regulation, fire department, housing inspection program, legal services and costs, lifeguards, municipal court, planning board, police department, registrar of vital statistics.
Thank you. Okay, and so who do we go to complain about Fred?
You can complain to him to me.
Fred? Okay.
And you can complain to me.
Oh, are you in charge of him as well?
And you can complain to Mike.
Anybody.
Wow.
Anybody.
How about Mr. Deeney? Can I
No,
complain to
he
him?
doesn't accept complaints.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Anyone else? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Is there, we will open public comment on resolutions only. We have tonight 102 to 110. Is there any comment?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Mayor, your undivided attention to Resolution 102.
102?
102 will suffice. 102 if you like, or 102. If you notice, all the bids came in at the minimum bid of $200 a year per parking slot. Now, I don't know where you can get parking for 50 cents in this day and age, because Philadelphia, it's a $15 pop. New York, it's a $35 or $40 pop. And next go-round, you know, they really carped on the first go-round, implying all sorts of nefarious wrongdoing on the original low bids. Well, we haven't done much to improve it. I would think that there should be a stipulation next time that the bidding begin at $365 as a minimum bid. $1, which is really today's quarter or nickel, I guess. So realistically, $3.65, I don't think the Arbite guys will be too put out of shape. Moving on, Mayor. 108, Mayor. I see once again tax liens popping up, and I once again urge you and the other two commissioners to put forth an ordinance to stop the egregious practice of extortion at 18% per annum, especially when the prime rate presently is 1/4%. You're putting widows out of their homes. This is unconscionable. Either that or have a provision that divides commercial and residential liens, and then a further treatment of residential lien for senior citizens, whereby you wouldn't have whacking these people over the head for 18% per annum. This is unnecessary, because the usury laws for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania had been 1.25% per month, which worked out to a 15% maximum. And I think that is more than adequate compensation for waiting for your money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Anyone else?
Mike, I just want to comment before we close public, because I've given thought to, and Lisa recommended it, that we raise the minimum bid on those parking slots. And the reason that I didn't agree to that, and I still don't think I agree to it, even though $1 a day I don't think, buckle anybody. This is a small gesture, I think, that the city offers to these local businesses in order to help them. And I think that's why we initially, and I don't think I was here when we initially developed leasing these spots for the businesses. But it absolutely is our way of trying to encourage the businesses and help them with the limited amount of space that they have out on Ventnor Avenue, that we can offer these spots at a really, really good rate. So I'm committed to stick to that, and I think that it's a good thing that we do to try and help the businesses. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
You know, I think this is a good idea that Maury just had to comment sometimes, because I've heard people say they never get any feedback, and I think they don't have to give it immediate feedback, but over a period of time, you keep hearing the same questions. I think we should just say, you know, we're not now ready to make that decision, so you can keep asking each week, but why don't you wait a few months and then ask again, maybe try to convince us differently. And to that end, I've heard the comments made about the tax, the interest rates. The interest rates are controlled by the state. You can have them lower. And I understand what was said, but I have no evidence that widows and seniors and poor people are being hurt. On the contrary, the former tax collector and the present tax collector, in my own experience, is that if you don't put the rates up fairly high, there are people who use us as a bank. And we are helping the rest of the taxpayers by having such a high collection rate. We have one of the highest collection rates in the area. And that tax collection rate each year helps us in preparing our next budget. And one of the things that's an incentive to get people to pay their taxes on time is they don't want to pay the higher rates. So there's room for public policy debate on it, but I think we should at least give some feedback of why the tax collectors and why the city does have high rates, so it's better understood.
The only comment I would have to make, and to help answer John's question, is I guess we'd have to go to Linda and ask her actually how many tax liens happen during a course of a 12-month period. And if it is truly cumbersome for those individuals, I would believe, and all three of us would agree, to look at it. If it's a big dollar sign and it's really hurting somebody, that's one thing. But I think the way it's set up, and as Mr. Deeney said, there is a state law that says this is where the max you can go to. And even though the times have changed and interest rates have dropped, it still encourages people to pay their taxes on time, and that's how the city runs. And, you know, Maury brought out a very good point about the parking spaces. And the way I look at it, not all of them, but some of these individuals that are business owners in town are also paying not only business taxes for their real estate for their business, but they also own homes here. And it sort of gives them the opportunity during the busy months to have an established parking space with no aggravation going to open up their shop, whether it's Nick's Hair Salon or it's Evan Goddard, the attorney. So, you know, the 50-cent increase is a nice suggestion on your part as a taxpayer to put money into the city coffers, but on the same token, we're helping out our business community, and I think we have a great partnership. The former commissions have always been very receptive to our business community, and that's what makes Margate so unique. We have a full-scale supermarket. We have the businesses down on the south end. We want to keep that coming. So I wouldn't agree with you on that, Mr. Sewell. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I'll make a motion, we close public comment.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
All you.
It's you.
Do.
You're on.
I'd like a motion to approve resolution number 102-2015, authorizing lease agreement for 18 municipal parking spaces in the municipal parking lot at 15 North Washington Avenue.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion, Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
I'd like a motion to approve Resolution 103, 2015, authorizing award of contract to Lane Christian Company for redevelopment of well number 9.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
A motion for Resolution number 104, 2015, authorizing award of contract to D&R. It's a misprint in this. Landscaping for Ventnor Avenue Parkway irrigation system.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Motion for number 105, 2015, authorizing award of contract to Falsica Mechanical for municipal building upgrade Phase 2.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
A motion for resolution number 106, 2015, change order number 3, decrease for road program 2013 with asphalt paving system.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second?
Yep. Mayor.
Okay. Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
A motion for resolution 107, 2015, payment of bills and claims.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
A motion for resolution number 108, 2015, authorizing tax certificate redemption, tax lien for block 28.01, lot 101.804, 9400 Atlantic Avenue.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Motion for resolution number 109, 2015, authorizing a 4-year agreement with Margate City Lifeguards Association, Inc., and the City of Margate.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
A motion for resolution number 110-2015, tax overpayment for block 709.01, lot 3, second quarter taxes, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.